Hello and welcome to the Build with Baer workshop. And it's Pat Baer. I'm here to build model kits and to hang out with you and talk about, what's going on. Anime, new season of anime has started. I've got some shows. I watched a bunch of things in prep for this stream. Let's throw the Bear Cave, the Lego, the Scythe emote into chat to make sure that we are chatting. If you're a subscriber, you can throw that in there. If you're not a subscriber, you can just say hey. Or throw whatever. I've got a new background image. I don't know how long I'm going to keep this image. Epic Open World is here. Dude Wants His Rug is here. Heck yeah, heck yeah. Welcome, welcome. I'm hoping more folks join us. I don't know if they will. As I said in the pre-show, the non-recorded portion of the show. Solf is here. Brooke is here. Yeah, I don't know. What our numbers are going to be this fine evening. I'm hoping some people join us, but if they don't, they don't. People might be watching the keynote. Mr. Bob is here. Yeah, hey, Mr. Bob. They might be watching, the Sony keynote, or they might be watching professional wrestling for the WWE, or they could be watching Games Done Quick. I don't know what's on right now. I have not watched any of Games Done Quick, because I usually watch the videos uploaded to YouTube after the fact, and I don't watch them live, because sometimes, you're like, oh, I'm going to watch a big block of GDQ, and then it's like, oh, I don't like this game, or I don't like this runner. Shit, now what am I going to do? Whereas on YouTube, you can be like, nope, I'll watch this. I'm not watching WWE, but this Lesnar stuff confuses me. Yeah, Lesbrook, I'm wondering. Sony just revealed the PS5 logo like it was a big deal. Boring logo. Epic Open World, they gotta be hyped so people stay hyped. And here's the thing. In the grand scheme of things, I'll take a boring logo over another company putting out a improper render of the back of your console and you having to put out a statement saying, oh, that company fucked up. That's not what our console looks like. Ah, fuck. Like, that sounds bad. They said they were speedrunning all Fallout about 3 to 4 hours ago, so I think they're probably still going, Sister Bob. Yeah, they're definitely, I think they're in Fallout 4 by now, because Fallout 4 is the longest of them, because it has been around the least amount of time, and the way it's broken is different, depending on what percentages they are. But, you can beat Fallout New Vegas very fast if you can do that glitch right. That glitch makes it very fast to beat that. Fallout 3 is a little tough because you have to do certain conditions to get there. Oh, I don't know if they go in order, Lashbrook. I can't say. Generally, when they do if they do Diablo 1 and 2 speedrun, they'll do Diablo 1, then Diablo 2. I don't know if they do Diablo 3 in the speedrun. I guess they might. But if they do that, then they will add in, they will go in order. Generally, that's what it is. I don't know the specific of it because I haven't tuned in, as I said. I usually watch after the fact. Unless it's someone I know doing it, which rarely happens, but does on occasion. Someone I know will be doing a speedrun, and I will want to tune in for that speedrunner. Lashbrook mentioned the Lesnar stuff. Yeah, I saw Sonic and Knuckles race. That was cool. Ooh, okay. Lord Crashington is here. Hi, Lord Crashington. We're going to get building in a moment, because we got the Zogok. We started this on Saturday, and we got to keep Zogoking. We built the head and chest because it's the same thing, and the waist, which usually the waist is one of the last things you build on a kit, so it's kind of fun to build that. And as always, to mention, these are not air, this is not for shooting air out of it. These are boomerangs that it holds in its head. That's right, it's got 10 boomerangs, because the Zogok is wild. It's got 10 boomerangs and a punching, retractable, extending fist. It's good. It's a good thing. It's a good, silly kit. I enjoy in Gundam when there's a mobile suit that if you saw it and a bunch of other mobile suits, you go, that's from a different show. You would not go, that's from a Gundam. I enjoy that. The mobile suits that are just wild. That you're like, what is this supposed to be? So I appreciate that. Earlier, Lashbrook mentioned the Brock Lesnar stuff. So Brock Lesnar is currently the champion. He's rarely on television. He rarely defends his belt. Royal Rumble is the end of this month. There is no storyline for Brock Lesnar going into that. I assumed he wasn't going to be there. Or he would show up at the end to, stare down the winner of the Rumble. Instead, he's entering the Rumble in number 1. And I have to assume that is going to change. It's from the California base. Yes, this is a amphibious mobile suit. It's meant for, Earth stuff. And so it is supposed to be different. But it is weird. It is barely humanoid, which these shows, Gundam in particular, Gundam as a franchise, is obsessed with humanoid model kits because they believe their audience is obsessed with humanoid model kits, which for a large extent they are. The closest thing you will see to an animal in Gundam is a dragon, because dragons are cool. And that's about it, man. You're not gonna, there are obviously exceptions in that there are animal heads on some kits, but you're rarely, unlike G Gundam. G Gundam has some animalish things, but generally the animal stuff in G Gundam is tied into the racism. So the suit is a throwback to the OG series. Yes. Where some models are homages to... Yes, this is from Unicorn, but is a throwback to Double Zeta, which it featured as well. You're right. You're not wrong. Okay, I've seen Rami from Flambeer Twitter today. So, Epic... I'm not going to talk in specifics, but I will talk generally. I'm going to start building, and I'm going to talk to you all about websites that track wealth. So let me go to the Zogok. So we'll talk broadly. We're not going to talk about Rami. We're not going to talk about anyone in particular. I'm going to talk to you about websites that track wealth and report on people's net worth and income. They don't fucking know. Nobody knows. Because nobody knows anything. Because most people's information isn't fully public. Most people don't release their tax returns. Most people have income from various assets. And oftentimes, those websites do not include, websites, newsletters, magazines, do not include investments. They literally only track perceived income based on various features and things. They are wholly inaccurate. Only the top richest people have their wealth tracked for public interest, but that's about it. Yes, Lord Crouchton, indeed. I have friends. Look, to be fair, I have a friend who is a millionaire. He is a multimillionaire. We are friends. He earned his money through various means, including being an overnight success on the internet in a very weird way that is almost impossible to repeat. And certainly in this day and age is not repeatable. And I have friends who are wealthy through acting and performance and writing and various other means. I also have friends who are reportedly wealthy and definitely are not. And then I have friends who most people don't know that they're actually wealthy because there's no one would notice that they're actually wealthy because they just live a life that doesn't let people know that they are wealthy. Um, Folks think that if you have a TV show, if you are not have a TV show, if you are on a television show, you are wealthy. That is not the case. Television does not pay well. Netflix pays big name, cool creators very well. But if you have never heard of someone before they have a Netflix thing, they are not wealthy now. The members of the wonderful sketch group, Astronomy Club, who have a Netflix show, that did not make them rich. Those sack lunch bunch kids are broke. I mean, the reality is, those kids were probably paid fairly well for child performers, but certainly are not done working because that does not exist anymore. You can be on a network television show. Oh, here's a real fun one. I just want to tell the internet in case they want to know I'm not wealthy. There you go. Here's a real fun one. Let's say you get an NBC show. You got an NBC show. You shot a pilot. They greenlit it. You produced 6 episodes. You're going to do a full 12. But then you did 6 ahead of premiere, and you're going to do the back 6 as it's premiering. That way you can incorporate some feedback. You can see how some numbers are doing. You can get a sense of what hit and what didn't. You can fine tune it. And then NBC decides they're going to put it only on Hulu. So you have an NBC television show that never aired on television. And so when you're negotiating for season 2, you're not negotiating for a successful season on television. You're negotiating for a Hulu show. Suddenly your big show that is going to change your life is a Hulu show, which is a whole different thing. But yeah, you can be in movies. You can be the lead in movies. That don't mean shit. You can also be in one thing very minorly, and suddenly you are it. You are famous. You have made it. You have done it. You can have a breakout hit. Only thing I know about pay for TV shows and pay is when Ron Funches on Beastcast and how. Oh yes. Oh yeah, certainly. I mean, Ron Funches does pretty well. Has done pretty well for himself, but there are some projects that paid Ron Funches very, very well, and there were other projects that paid Ron Funches decently. And it's always good, and the work is good, and a lot of times fun and interesting, but it's also that thing where you're like, it's not like... somebody asked me, why does Lisa Hannah-Walt have a podcast? Lisa did the art direction and character design for BoJack Horseman. And people were like, well, she's made it, right? She doesn't need to do a podcast. Why does she do a podcast on the Maximum Fun Network? What does Lisa Hannah-Walt need to have a podcast? Why does she guest on her boyfriend's streams? Because that doesn't pay the bills forever. It's not enough. And because if it was enough, then Netflix would still be paying for her for a decent enough show that she created that they didn't give any legs to. Hello, Ultron. Let's just say my sliver interest in the Apple streaming service disappeared after Ron's guest spot on the Beastcast. Yeah, I mean, that would have been fun. That was actually really a good insight into that service, because now I've had, as someone who's experienced it, I've now understood that no one working on Apple TV is from television. They're all from other places, including Apple, but nobody working there is from television, so none of them have any clue of what they're doing, and that's very interesting. That was enlightening from Ron. But then I also got to witness that a little bit firsthand. Yeah, folks ask me, it's like, why does Adam Conover have podcasts? Why does Adam Conover do live streams? He's got a TV show. And I'm just like, he's got a true TV show that is categorized as reality it's categorized within the world of reality. So even though Adam has a writing staff and a research staff and actors and all of this, I can guarantee you, without looking at any of the books, not knowing any of that, the fact that it's Adam Conover's show does not rake in a budget that is making anyone wealthy. Indeed, Mr. Bob. Yeah, you can make it friendly with a filter. I don't get the sense that no one cares about Apple TV. Yeah, I think they just like Apple should have a streaming service. Let's give some people a bunch of money. Oh, wait, let's change our minds about a bunch of other things. And then someone is going to come in. I don't get the sense that it's anyone's vision. It might be. There might be a vision there, but I don't feel like there is. Cover request for... Alright, I might pick that up. Sorry, got an email about so much little work stuff. Have a surprising fact about Apple TV is not exclusive to Apple's devices. Yes. Oh, you didn't, Mr. Bob. Yeah, here's the thing. Apple TV is a bad name because it's just Hulu. It's just Disney Plus. It's just HBO Go now, whatever that one is. Yeah, Apple TV is just a streaming service. If those smaller actors got paid what people thought they did, they probably wouldn't have to take any gig they can get. Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is that thing of like folks that are underpaid and underrepresented, but also like part of a deal, you make a certain amount of money and that's a good deal, but then you can't do other things while you're doing it or after that thing. So even if you're a small part in a thing and you are only working one day this week, well, there are only so many projects you can do and only so many kinds of projects you can do outside of it. So that money has to last. And hopefully it does. But yeah. But yes, no, that is a thing that there is brand confusion with Apple TV that I have heard from numerous people where they are like, I did not know that Apple TV was a streaming service. I thought it was an Apple TV service. Or, I thought it was a thing that you used on your Apple TV. Like, Apple, like, what? It's like, no. No, it's a Disney, it's like, yeah, it's a streaming service. But yeah, not everybody knows that. I have it for free. I have a year of it. I have watched Ghost Rider, which is a good enough reboot of Ghost Rider. And if I watched anything else, I watched a little bit of that blind show, the everyone is blind in the future, Vikings but blind. I've watched a little of that. I can't even remember the name of it. I watched like a couple of those. Whatever. Yeah, I got Apple TV for free because I bought a new phone last year. So that's how I got it. I would not have gotten it otherwise. My FiOS is not high enough tiered for me to get Disney Plus for free, which was a bummer because I would have liked that because I don't have Disney Plus right now. That would have been nice. I do think there's also fair to say that actors sometimes take gigs that are passionate about the project. Yes. Oh, certainly, Epic. And also, you can be in a privileged position to be able to do that. Not everyone can be in that privileged position. There are incredibly great actors that are working in prestige television, that are taking a huge pay cut, from HBO in order to do an HBO show instead of doing a couple movies that would pay just as much, if not way, way more. Because they want to do a cool television show, or they want to do a passion project, or they want to do an independent film. Instead, they want to, there are some actors out there that do one for the system, one for me. And that's the way they go. Or two, whatever we can get. Hey, negotiate, get me the most money you can. And then I'll also do then we got to do a movie that interests me, where I can have a British accent and really try. Yeah, it's interesting, everything's a little different. But I will say, in general, the point I was making, to speak in generalities, is to say, don't trust anyone's net worth. Because it's just easy to be like, nah, you don't know. You definitely don't know. You definitely don't actually know that. To show, but I'm pretty sure Henry Cavill is doing The Witcher for funsies. I mean, he's most likely getting paid something. I mean, he's not in blockbusters. He does good work. He's just not, he's certainly getting something. But yeah, he might be doing that show as partly of, I like playing video games. The Witcher seems like a cool video game. If I was going to do a cool thing, it would be The Witcher. Yeah, like, sometimes that's enough for people to be like, wait, I can do that? Yeah, all right. Yeah, let's do that. That sounds good. It's not a movie, it's a TV show? Even better. I know video game movies aren't good, but video game TV shows could be okay. It's mostly based on the books and not the video game? All right, even better. Cool, let's do it. Sure. It's probably better to tell people much more. Indeed, yeah. Yeah, I mean, like, oops. I have a friend of mine has a minor role in a movie based on a video game property that is coming out next month. And I chatted with her about this small role. Also, I have a friend who's got a major role in this, but I won't talk about that. I'm just going to talk about my friend who has a small role in this movie. And she's like, I don't know anything about video games, but I know who that character is. And I knew that at the very least I would be in something that people would talk about. Maybe they're not going to talk about it positively, but people are going to talk about this thing. So I said yes. And I don't know if it's going to be good or not, but I do know I'll always be able to say I was in that movie. And that is the perfect reason to be in Sonic the Hedgehog the movie. A friend of mine has a fairly minor role, a major principal. She is in it and going to do some stuff. I also have a friend who has a bigger role in it. But yeah, she was just like, I don't know, this sounds pretty fun to be, this seems like a pretty silly thing to be in. As someone who is, fairly up on pop culture stuff, especially nerd culture stuff, I could definitely see Ben and Jan going to see the Sonic movie. Yeah, I could see that. I think that makes sense. I'm sure there's been conversations about that. That would make a lot of sense. So, as I said, as someone who does a lot of pop culture stuff, knows what's going on, I occasionally get asked my opinion on things, or I get asked to give some background information. I have been quoted in Decider, the website Decider, as an I was called an anime expert, which I don't. I'm not saying. I'm not putting on anything. I wouldn't call myself an anime expert, but I am my friend who wrote the article's anime expert, because there is a bit in that episode, a recent at the time episode of Terrace House, where the guy was wanting to go to a movie and on a date and mentioned the Detective Conan movie, and there was a whole hubbub and whatever. And so my friend was like, hey, can I quote you? Can you please tell me what Detective Conan is and why people would be like, oh, I mean, don't do that. And so I kind of explained the context of it and what the show was and how people could stream it and kind of went into it, right? And then I have had people ask me like, hey, what's up with this thing? Hey, what's going on with that? I had a friend reach out to me and ask me if a certain animated show on Netflix was good or not, because they had an offer to do a voice in an upcoming season and wanted to know if the show was cool or shitty. Their exact quote was, hey, I got this offer to audition for a thing, and I haven't watched it yet. Do fans hate it? And so I had to be like, no, fans think that it's a pretty cool thing, and are actually pleasantly surprised that this animated thing is pretty cool. And they were like, great. So people won't be mad that I'm in it, or people won't be mad that I'm like, they could be mad. I mean, they still could be mad. But I was like, they don't hate the thing, is basically what I said, which is true. It was a project. I don't know if that person got the role or not. I can't comment on that. But it's like, that is a fun little thing that I'm able to do now and again. Yeah, as I said, I would not call myself an anime expert, but I have been asked, from people who are writing things to be like, hey, Pat, I've got a spec script. What's a video game I could put in for this kind of character? Or, hey, Pat, we have a scene in the thing. Could you let me know, like what's a good joke? Or, hey, I'm writing a joke. I've been asked this a bunch. Hey, I'm working on this joke for like a guy that loves wrestling. Can you give me a good reference to wrestling from this year that I can use in this joke? And the funny thing about that is my friend does that joke, and it does well for wrestling fans. And then she says, I'll let my friend Pat know you like that. I don't know what I'm talking about. And it gets a bigger laugh than the wrestling joke. The joke is a thing and happens, and it says like, it ends up being like, hey, I'm not here asking you to bleed like Cody. And then some other reference about fighting Goldust, and it gets a good little laugh from wrestling fans, and then gets a bigger laugh where she's like, I don't know what that means. Yeah, I mean that is a nice thing about being someone that has some institutional knowledge about things, is that I can on occasion give that expertise and help people out. I've wanted to talk about anime more in other contexts, that is the thing. Especially with Decider, I've wanted to they have a couple people that know anime, but I've wanted to be like, here's the preview and here's this thing and all that. Also because they know what shows are going to be on and when they're going to be on. I hate that. I know that shows exist, and sometimes I know when they're coming out. But hey, I found out that on Mondays Monday is the day where the following shows are on Crunchyroll. Room Camp, Yatogame-chan, Season 2, and Seton Academy are all Monday shows. Last season, there was one Monday show. This season, there are 3. Now, 2 of those are short subject, 3.5-minute things. They're shorts. So it's not really that. But then also, on Sunday is keep your hands off Eizouken. So right now I've got 4 shows to talk about on Mondays, which is awesome. But also that could change next week. Hulu can't ever really tell when things go up on Hulu. Funimation is pretty good, and usually if it's on Funimation and they have a deal with Hulu, then you can find it. But I haven't seen. So like there are probably shows that came out that I don't even know about yet. I wish that I could get that info. That's the real thing. That's all I kind of really want is I want someone to be like, oh, this series, yeah, the new episodes of this thing came out. Here's the information on it. Here's the thing you wanted. Because that's just it would make my life easier. In order to give proper coverage to all of you. Instead of like a week later, someone being like, hey, are you watching this show? And I was like, I didn't know that was a show. And obviously part of that is, like I said, if I'm not watching, because I don't have a Funimation account, so sometimes there are things that are on Funimation only, or they're on Amazon Prime, because forget Hulu, at least Hulu, you can kind of look at simulcasts and check out what's going on there. And Funimation and Crunchyroll have a calendar. I have no idea how to find out what's new on Amazon as far as new streaming shows that are weekly, that are simulcast. I have no idea how to find that out. Other than I'll find on YouTube, someone will upload a 2-minute clip of an anime, and I have to read the comments to find out what show it is, and then track it down, and then Google what the show is, and then find it. Or what I've done sometimes is, hey, that show seemed neat. It's been 3 weeks, and I'm like, oh, it's on this service. Okay, that's why I haven't seen it. I didn't know. I'll just remind myself that I wanted to see a show. Yeah, because right now, let's see, Hulu is going to, well, I don't know if Hulu's going to have. I know that, right now I know that Funimation is getting, Boffery, I don't want to get hurt, so I'll max out my defense, which is one of the shows I'm most anticipating. They have Plunderer, which could be okay. They have Orphan, but I don't know if anyone else is getting Orphan, but they have Orphan, and then they have Nikopara, which I don't know if I'm gonna like keep up with Nikopara, but I'm definitely gonna check it out because like I like the idea of that thing. I like that what started off as like a light novel video game. Or like not a light novel, but like a photo video game has become like an anime, and it's pretty cute and light, so I don't mind those shows. Amazon doesn't know what's new on Amazon. Yeah, that's pretty fair. I would say that is a fair statement. But usually it's just like I said. I hate that my best way of finding out what's going on is hoping that the YouTube algorithm recommends me clips based on other clips I've watched, and then I see a show and go, oh, I'll check that out. Like, that shouldn't be happening. That shouldn't be how I find out about shows. And then I'll look and see it was uploaded like a day ago and go, okay, what is this show? What is this? Should I check this out? I don't like that. There are a lot of stickers in this, but they, we're putting them on now. The arms do have some stickers. So we'll get these on. Alright, so this goes on like this. And then this goes on like this. And that is the arm done. And we'll do the second thing on the other one. But yeah, that is always a frustrating thing to be like, I don't know what's on. So yeah, I'll have some shows to talk about in the second half of the stream, which I'm excited to talk about. Harold's not here tonight, which is okay and totally all right, Harold. But I can't talk to Harold about. I would talk to Harold about Road Quest. The last episode of Road Quest was on, and it's a pretty good finale for that show. A fun ongoing series that I'm happy has wrapped up because I thought it was a solid, fun little show on YouTube on Loading Ready Run's channel. That I thought was like a fun experience, and I'm glad that it wrapped up because it wrapped up in a good spot. It was just a fun road trip. All right, so we are building hands here. We're building our big fists here. Gonna apply some. Get some. Oop! I dropped a piece. Nobody freak out. I don't. Oh, there it is. Okay. Hold on. Stretch out my foot. I'm gonna try to get this without standing up. Oh, yeah. Oh, nope. I gotta stand up. I'll be back in a second. Dropped a piece of this big fist here, but luckily it's close enough that I can get it without having to move anything or take off my headset, and I can sit back down. I am wearing the This is the Run Contra Giant Bomb shirt. Because now it is a classic shirt. It goes in my pile of shirts that feature people that no longer work at Giant Bomb. Which is not that many, because there are only a few things that, there's like very little with Austin on it in any way, shape, or form. And then, of course, the hot dog shirt, which I have never worn because it's colors I do not enjoy on shirts. But it's a fun thing to have. All right, so let's keep going here. We're building our hands here, our big fists, getting ready to do this thing. We need A2 and A3. Oh yeah, so yeah, I wish I knew like more scheduling stuff, but also I like being the person that people ask questions about when it comes to anime things. I had in the past I've had people be like, hey, where do I start with this show? Hey, what is this? Hey, why are people talking about this show? Didn't it already have a season? Why do people say the academia part like that? Why don't they just call it My Hero? What's happening right now? This past year, I had a friend reach out and be like, hey, I'm interviewing a voice actor. Can you tell me anything about any of these shows? And I was just like, yeah, all right, let me look it up. Who are you? It was like, oh, okay, yeah, here you go. Here are some questions. Here are things not to bring up. Here you go. Ask them about the last season of Fairy Tail because they're a dub actor on that, and that's actually maybe why you're talking to them. And okay, here you go. And ask them about this video game they're in. Do they even remember it? Blah, blah, blah. Don't ask them about this because it's a Rockstar game and they can't talk to you about a Rockstar game. Oh, what's going on with me tonight? I'm just dropping things left and right. Lean over this table more, I think. I finished the Mandalorian today. It's a very uneven show. The last two episodes are really good. Yeah, I mean, that's Look, I'm not the first, and I will not be the last person to say The Mandalorian, and now, of course, I have not watched every episode, so no spoilers. I also have not watched every episode, so I cannot comment on every episode. But I can tell you that The Mandalorian feels like a throwback to the days of, and I've even talked about this on the streams. It feels like a throwback to the days of the made for syndication sci-fi and fantasy show. It has a Xena, Hercules, Andromeda, kind of. Andromeda was later, but feel to it. I'm not the first. I will not be the last person to make that comparison. But it definitely has that kind of vibe. I like it. I like the show. Like I said, haven't finished it. Cannot comment on it fully. But I like what I saw of it. It's pretty fun. Just going to retweet myself. Try to get a few more eyes on the product, as they say. I'm not going to talk too much about Wrestle Kingdom from this past weekend. I will say that I saw Jushin Thunder Liger wrestle once in New York, and it fucking ruled as... Oh, man, it fucking ruled. It was incredible, and I am lucky to have been able to see it, to see him live. He is an institution and an incredible performer. I do love that the idea of having him in a tag match with a lot of 40-year-olds was really fun as a way to honor, to kind of slip in some honor from some people that wouldn't necessarily be the biggest draw in the world, but still have plenty of fans and plenty left to offer to wrestling. Is a cool thing, and it was overall really nice. I was expecting him to win one of his two matches and not lose both, but also not really feeling bad about that. I knew he was going to lose the second. I thought he might win the first. But yeah, I'm not too broken up about it. Do you believe replace Baby Yoda with anything else, it would have not been as popular? Well, yeah. Look, but that's also epic, yeah. But that's like saying, well, if you took out this important popular thing that they knew they were going to do right, goodbye and were excited to include in the show, it wouldn't be as good of a show. It's like, yeah, you are right. It certainly wouldn't have been as good if they didn't have the thing that people liked in it. But obviously, no one expected Baby Yoda to be as big of a deal as it became. But yeah. Well, yeah. But also, people are ignoring some of the flaws, I think, because it's a TV show. It's a Star Wars TV show. Like, it's not the movies. I think a lot of people are maybe too forgiving because they're like, whatever. It's a Disney Plus TV show, original, set in the Star Wars universe. It's good enough. Like, if you're comparing... Some people are comparing The Mandalorian to the Christmas special. And if you compose it to the Christmas special, it's incredible. If you compare it to... Gendy's Clone Wars season doesn't hold up. If you're comparing it to The Last Jedi, well, it doesn't hold up. But I think a lot of people are comparing it to like the lowest budget versions of Star Wars, and it's better than a lot of those because it's a low budget Star Wars thing, and there hasn't been much of that. There have been a lot of attempts to do that, but there hasn't actually been much of it. Wrestle Kingdom stuff. Juice is putting in some good work. Juice was really like, it's weird. 2018 was a really good year for Juice, and this year has not been as good. 2019 feels like it wasn't as good, and it was surprising. I was expecting a little bit more. So I was actually a little surprised. But there's some good performances over those 2 days. God, do I fucking hate Jericho's Harlequin makeup. Harlequin inspired makeup. I fucking hate it. Like, it's not even, it's go away heat. It's not even like boo heat. It's like, you look terrible. I don't want to look at your face heat. I hate it. I hate the makeup so much. I don't know what it's for. I don't get it. He still can go in the ring, and he's still enjoyable to watch, and he tells a great story. But, man, I don't want... No, so it's not Harley Quinn epic, it's Harlequin. which obviously Harley Quinn is inspired by, but it's not the like it is like black and white like paint. It's Harlequin, and I don't know what it is. I don't know if I'm supposed to know what it is. I don't know if I missed something. Like, I'm not as up in my Japanese stuff, but like, Moxley's great. Moxley matches are so cool. Yeah, Solf, it's more Juggalo. Yeah, it is. It is Juggalo-esque, which obviously, he's not. It's definitely not a Juggalo gimmick or a homage. Like, it very much feels like it is a Harlequin thing. But it's weird. It's just weird. It's never not going to be weird, to me anyway. It's just the look, his look. Yeah, I don't love it. Okada. Somebody mentioned this on the internet, and I can't remember who, but it really spoke to me. That I wonder if Okada is regretting one of his things being that he can go the distance, that he's like a guy that like gets better as the match goes on, because that means that he has to have very long matches. Like, all his matches have to be really long, and he can't do short matches because part of his thing is like, well, the longer he's in the match, the better he gets, and the more powerful he is, and how that must be a fucking bummer when you just want to, like, have a quick match. Okay, I gotta ask, has DC paid to have one of their comic book characters in a wrestling match? No, Epic Open World, it's the reverse. And that wrestling companies have had gimmicks purely just stealing from comic books, and then have had to pay large sums of money to make that okay. Because even in its heyday, no one believed they needed to pay to get their shit in wrestling, outside of like advertisements. So like a wrestling event. Yeah, so the Crow, right? Sting's Crow gimmick. That's not product placement. That's a ripoff. It's an homage at best. Hulk Hogan. The WWE for many, many years had to pay Marvel for the rights to the name Hulk. Because whatever the company, I forget what company it was, whatever company, the AWA maybe, whatever company Hulk Hogan worked in, just called him Hulk Hogan. And then at a certain point, people were like, hey. But yeah, no, because even when wrestling was important, people were not paying for things. So like, if you're going to have a wrestler who's part of the Kiss Army, they're paying Kiss for that. Kiss isn't paying them to be like, please have a wrestling character that is someone in the Kiss Army. Even though that was garbage and bad. They're still not, nobody's like, I'm paying WCW to put my thing in there. They find ways to do it. They find ways to make money and make things work and do deals, but you're like WCW had Glacier and Wrath and the third one that I can't remember that was Chris Kanyon played it. It started with a G maybe. Sting, yes, also in Impact, TNA Impact, Sting also wore Joker makeup at one point, and I don't want to talk about that. What do you call it? Yeah, there have been homages and to various things and things like that. But everything from modern, and now we always gotten superhero stuff, like especially Rey Mysterio would do a lot of superhero stuff. Oh yeah, I mean, like, there are Mexican promotions that just use whatever because they don't care. because they're also not trying to be international. Once you start getting into international markets, like, in ECW, the Sandman comes out to enter Sandman. Well, he's still called the Sandman, but he's not coming out to enter Sandman ever again once he's a WWE employee. That's done. Nope. That's not happening anymore. Sandman's not drawing that kind of money to pay for that. Oh, the Shredder helmet. Yep. I mean, those homages, like, you get the New Day have done Saiyan armor. They've done Final Fantasy stuff. They find their homages here and there. Rey Mysterio has been well known to do. Rey Mysterio came in as Captain America before Captain America was in movies. He was doing a Captain America inspired ring gear. Like, it is, he's definitely been known to do that stuff. There have been homages here and there. Ricochet. One of the things that was really fun. One of the things that was very, very fun was what was it? Oh shit! We just saw Ricochet wear some gear that people were like, "What is this? Is this fetish gear?" And it was like, "No, it's an homage to Nightwing." And people were like, "I don't know who that is." And they were like, It's Dick Grayson when he grew up and he wasn't Robin anymore." And they're like, "Oh, okay. Wow, nerd." And it's like, yeah. So, Epic. Case-by-case basis when it comes to stuff like that. Generally, ring gear is the responsibility of wrestlers because they're independent contractors. Now, if a company says, "Hey, we want you to be a masked wrestler. We got a gimmick for you. We're going to pay for that mask." Mick Foley did not pay for the first Mankind mask. He may have paid for variations of it and new ones as it went, but they were pitching him the gimmick and they gave him the thing. When New Day wears ring gear, they're paying for their ring gear and their ring attire. They could be sponsored by a group who says, "Hey, can you tweet about this? Can you do a video?" Kofi Kingston doesn't always pay for the shoes he wears for shows because sometimes he'll do I Love Kicks, his YouTube series on Up, Up, and Down, Down. And so maybe he's doing it for an artist who is going to do the work for free because they'll be interviewed on the show. And that's a quid pro quo because being able to say that Kofi Kingston wore your sneakers, your custom sneakers, in a main event on WWE, a championship fight, is huge for a person that's, trying to make a name for themselves. But then you have something like, we just found out today, because it was something I didn't know until I listened to the New Day's podcast, literally today, Triple H came up with the idea of them coming out to a big box of Bootios. The big box falling over and them coming out. So WWE is paying for the box of Bootios to be created and assembled for props. And generally, they probably would have done it anyway, but if it was a fight to get it done, then the New Day might have paid for it as a way to be like, "We built this thing, we want to use it." But since it's Triple H's idea, they don't have to worry about that. Oh, yeah, no, I'm saying Lashbrook. Also, no one's covering the licensing until they get yelled at. That was made by somebody to look like something, to maybe something. And they're just going to hope that no one gets mad. Now, maybe Bandai is going to be like, "Hey." And they'll be like, "Oh, yeah, our independent contractors made a thing." Because that ring gear that's used once is different from a licensed product that they can then sell and package. So those are different things. So most likely, they are, if a company is, like that gear, that inspired thing, all of that, that's generally just like cosplay. Just inspired ring gear. Oh, he loves anime, so he did this thing. So sorry about that. Now that's different from, like, does Square Enix understand wrestling? No, Epic Open World. But like, I don't. But the media department for Square Enix knows that the social media people know that the New Day wearing some fun gear is a media moment. And so they're psyched about that. Now, if they tried to sell that shit, then that's a problem. But making an appearance like there, most companies at this point are savvy enough to be like, that's pretty cool. Like, nobody is sending cease and desist to Arby's very odd, weird choices for what they, for their Arby's photos of a pop culture thing that's also at a table at an Arby's for some reason. Like, no one's sending a cease and desist for that because they're like, whatever, Arby's is promoting our product. Sure. Okay. Arby's seems hip and relevant because they know about Death Stranding. And then people were just like, cool. Thanks for doing some work for us. But yeah, it just, a lot of it depends on what it is and how it's done. Because there are some companies that are like, hey, you know what you'll never see the New Day do? Anything that involves Nintendo. Because they know. No, Nintendo does not want you to reference their shit ever. They do not give a fuck. Because if they showed up as Mario and Luigi and Wario, you'd never see that pay-per-view. That segment would be off immediately. Nope. No. Nintendo, like, can you imagine they try to do a Pokemon thing? Nope. Never. You're telling me the New Day, if they could, would have done a Pokemon Go thing by now. But they can't. Because everybody knows that company is not flattered by your reference to them. Never. There are probably other companies that are like that. That's the one I could guarantee I know about. That's where I do all my papercraft at Arby's. Yeah, eat fresh, right? But yeah, a lot of that stuff is like. Also, a lot of it is. So, no hope of Dan coming out on a Raw event in a Waluigi costume. I mean, he could be backstage in his Waluigi suit. I'm sure, but yeah, no. The closest you'll get to Mario stuff is maybe Up, Down, Down. But even then, Xavier Woods knows that Nintendo and YouTube are not a great combination. So, like, outside of occasional, like, Mario Party seems like he'll do that, and generally that's when he's got to do some, like, there'll be Mario parties and up, down, down. But, like, that's probably it. You're probably not going to see other things besides that. I don't know. It's a whole thing, and I don't confess to know everything about these things, but I do know some things about them. The point I was going to make is a lot of times it is asking forgiveness, not asking permission. It's not like, let's form a deal with this thing. It's, oh, we did that, and then someone was like, hey, stop. And we were like, yeah, you're right. And then we stopped. Mortis. Chris Kanyon, rest in peace, performed as Mortis. Mortis and Wrath were the Mortal Kombat characters that faced off against Glacier. They were clearly Mortal Kombat characters. They were clearly not licensed. They spent a lot of money for a gimmick that people were like, no. And then eventually, Chris got to take off the costume and just be Chris Kanyon and have his great catchphrase, who's better than Kanyon? And then the audience would yell, everybody, and he would yell, nobody! It's nobody's better than Canyon. And that is some real good heel shit. It's very good heel shit to ask the audience a question that they will answer in a way that you hate every time. And you don't stop asking them because it's your catchphrase, and you're always surprised and annoyed that they don't say it right. It's a great fucking gimmick. Chris Kanyon also got paid to be in a tag team match at a pay-per-view where he just got to climb out of a cage and leave. That's a good day at work. He took like one bump, I think. Because he knows even Nintendo knows that Mario Party is bad. It's the one conspiracy I believe. I mean, it's most likely because it's some of the early games are published by Nintendo, but are Hudson games, and is a little shaky here and there on that. But also, like, at YouTube, if you're using YouTube as a way to make money, then there are things you steer away from. But if you're using it as also for exposure, then there are things that you can do because you're like, well, I'm going to do this video. It's not going to make any money, but it will draw some eyes, or it'll start a conversation about a thing. And so I will continue, so I will do it. And this is just the one that doesn't get monetized. But also, Xavier's trying to be in shit. That man's trying to get into voice acting and video game stuff and be around and have a career. In case his Achilles takes way longer, or Achilles, as he says, takes way longer to heal. Or doesn't heal properly, because it might not heal well. And he has had issues in the past and will continue to have issues depending on his fighting style, his wrestling style. But the man is thinking ahead. Trying to transition. Cause you gotta. You just gotta. Put Xavier Woods and MK instead of Ronda Rousey. Yeah. Sucks for Xavier that the biggest thing he's been in, video game wise, is a game that people don't want to talk about because it was made in unfair work conditions, and part of a thing that people were just like, nope, not going to talk about this. But I'll say this. Still makes more sense to have Xavier Woods in your game. So Epic, he is a voice. He's a, I believe, is a minor character or a second gen character or a DLC character in a video game. Yeah, called ROM, 20 something or other, 2048, which is a fine enough game, but made in poor working conditions by a now not disgraced enough game developer, because he's still doing work. Hence why I, myself, will not be playing the next, well, okay, caveats. Round 2048 it was made by a company, mid-boss, poor working conditions, lots of accusations, company dissolved. Matt Kahn left to figure out what to do next. Stayed in games. Stayed very much in games. Is still fucking in games. Is doing things in games. One of the people that has stood by him is Swery, which sucks. And so Matt was thanked on Swery's last game. And is why I don't think I can play the next Deadly Premonition. Also, Matt was involved with that Toe Jam and Earl, and was on a stream with Nick Robinson. And it was like, oh, it's a who's who of no thanks. Jesus. Fucking yikes. Oofa doofa. Yeah. And there was some game. Let's see. I can't remember what. There's some game in early access right now that was making the rounds about people talking about it being buggy and bad. And then also someone was just like, the dev said that women don't belong in war, which is why there aren't any female characters, playable characters in the game. And I was just like, oh, okay. I gotta look that game up so that I could forget about it again. But I was like, what? Yeah, they just don't think it's realistic. It's like, oh, cool. All right, well, never mind. It also seemed buggy, but like in other ways that weren't just that. But let me see if I can figure out what that game was. Where like the clips were. I can't remember. I apologize that I can't remember the game that I was. Oh, yes. Thank you, Lashbrook. Escape from Tarkov. I'm going to actually look up. Because there's obviously, like, not great stuff with that. Like, that sounded real bad and not good. But also. So here's the thing a friend of mine wrote. I learned in Tarkov that if you shoot fast enough, your character loses track of how many bullets are in your gun, and the UI stopped showing it. I got in a firefight and used an amount of my clip, then reloaded to a fresh one, and then used some of that to finish the firefight. Then I realized I had 2 magazines with an unknown number of bullets in them, so I had to sit there for a few minutes and pull every bullet out of each clip individually and shuffle them around so I had one full mag and one kind of full of one. What the fuck? That seems bad. I guess ammo is at a yeah. And that's apparently by design. That is not a glitch. But I'm reading that and I'm like, no thanks. No thanks. Yes. Kamale has not been, or like, man, I can't believe I didn't buy a Epic World Rings of Kamale. We're going to take a pause to the cause in a moment because we haven't done that yet, and I got an anime to talk about, so we got to take our pause in a moment. But I do want to say that it bums me out that that I didn't buy a video game this year that Sungwon Cho did a voice in, because Sungwon is an incredible voice actor, and he was playing a non-binary robot, and that fucking rules and rips. But it's in Borderlands 3. I'm not gonna fucking buy Borderlands 3. I'm definitely like, if I had a full-time job last year for the whole year, I wasn't gonna buy Borderlands 3 at full price. So I'm not gonna fucking buy that. Sorry, Sungwon rules. Like, ProZD is awesome, and I would like to support ProZD in the work that ProZD does. But like, fuck that shit. I'm not playing that game. I'm gonna buy that game full price for various reasons. For a whole plethora of reasons, I'm not gonna buy that game. Hell no. I have friends who worked on that game. They're not gonna buy that game. They know what company they work for. They knew who their boss is. Fuck that. I can still like them as people. I can still think they're great. I'm sure they worked hard. I'm sure they did a great job. I'm sure they kicked so much ass. But nah. No thanks. Hot takes from Baer. didn't want to play Borderlands 3 for various obvious reasons. Anyway, it's time for a pause for the cause. I just drank some water, so you can drink some water if that's something you'd like to do. Hey, throw the Bear Cave in the moat, throw the Lego emote, the Scythe emote, whatever you want to put in there. Let me know that you're here, that you're a subscriber. Oh, God, yeah, Epic Open World, I forgot the Camille was... That's how bad Andromeda was. I forgot Camille was in it, a person I really like. Oof, oofa-doofa. Oh, Jam wants me to play the soundboard. Hi, Jam. Use that for the soundboard. If you're unfamiliar with the soundboard, I got this for Christmas. It's nonsense, but I can do this. And we'll do one more. And also that clap sound, which is a long clip for some reason, that clap sound will play anytime anyone subscribes or resubs or gifts a donation of bits and coins. Bits and coins always appreciated. If you'd like to give a subscriber, you use your Twitch Prime coin. If you link your Twitch and your Amazon accounts together, you get a coin, which you could use just like cash money. It works the same for me. I get the same cut. Or you can use your own money. And if you renew, I love that. Please turn your notifications out to let me know that you renew so that we can give you a shout out. I'll give a shout out to Denagob. Denagob subbed before the stream started, sometimes today using Twitch Prime. So Denagob, thank you very much for being a Prime subscriber if you see this in the future. You could also join my my Patreon. I should just say right now, my Patreon, something cool happened. I finally got $3 level subscribers. And I said that once I got somebody at the $3 level, then that would unlock the $3 ability, which is once a month, they choose what game I stream on one of my weekly bonus game streams. So this Wednesday, I am going to be streaming some Fire Pro Wrestling World matches, custom matches, using created characters that are related to my streams, and I will be giving wrestling commentary over those. We've done this once before. It was a lot of fun. I'm going to be doing that Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern, so we'll be seeing some various things that have been featured on build streams, and I think that's going to be really fun. Some one-on-one matches, some tag team matches, and I'll be doing commentary. The commentary will be live. It's possible I may have to record those separately because sometimes World doesn't love me when I stream it. So I have to check that out. You can also, that's for my Patreon. Thank you very much, Patreon, for that. Yeah, it'll be fun to check it out again, Ultron, and to see some new custom characters that were downloaded. You can donate if you'd like to donate. Anything I make through Patreon, through Twitch, through my YouTube, occasionally I get dollars from that. Goes to buying kits and equipment. I've been great on equipment this year and last year, but kits have to come in. Right now I have a couple kits left to build. My backlog isn't terrible. It's not a lot, but it's also not a little. Like I have some kits to build, and you could help with that if you wanted by buying something off my wish list. I'm expecting at least one thing to come from my wish list soon, but you could buy something for that, and then I'll build it on stream. I've got I put in a 144 scale. I always like to throw in some like this, the 144 scale high grades, which are fun to build on occasion. More expensive stuff. A lot of it is Amazon Prime. Not everything. Some change here and there. If you'd like me to build something on stream, you can pick that up, and then I'll build it. So we're building the Zogok here. Also on stream is Char's Zogok, which is a real grade, and is different from this one, but is still a Zogok, and that will be fun to build. That's on that's on the wish list. And I just put in there, the Jengen Blast Master. It's a Blast Master. That's just a fun looking kit. I like a good red mobile suit now and again. You know me. That's one way to support the stream if that's something you like to do. You could also buy something from USA Gundam Store if you'd like to do that. If you don't want to use Amazon, and I'll build something from that. You can get a gift card, and then whisper it to me here or send me a DM, and I'll build it on stream. Um, let's see. What else? What else? What else? Oh, picture. I have a Discord. You could join my Discord if you'd like to do that. It's right here. I don't have any videos to promote today. Patreon supporters at the $5 and $10 level tomorrow will get a brand new video series that I'm debuting on Wednesday. I was going to take some time off because I just finished up background and characters last week, but I'm not waiting any more time. Wednesday, I'm debuting a brand new series. And I think it'll be a surprise. And I don't know if I'm going to keep doing it for a whole year or whatever, but I'm going to try it. I think it's going to be pretty cool. So keep an eye out on Wednesday, or if you're a $5, $10 patron supporter, you'll get it tomorrow because you get things early. All right. So what else I got to do? Well, Harold is now hosting this stream. Thank you very much, Harold. Appreciate the hosting. As always, my friend. Yeah, let's get back to building and let's talk about some anime. It's anime talking time. We're going to get into... So I got shows to talk about. We'll start with My Hero Academia. I'm caught up on My Hero Academia because I didn't know what shows were going to come out. I didn't know if I would have anime to talk about today. So I got caught up on My Hero. And I'm not going to give big spoilers to what's going on, but I will say, holy fucking shit, My Hero Academia is real fucking good right now. Just watching the tail end of the Road Quest Q&A. Can't stay long. Oh, nice. I forgot that they were doing a Q&A. I'll watch that archive. Road Quest was great as a finale. I thought it was pretty fun. If you like the Canadian Yukon and being awe-inspired by how cool some shit looks, it's pretty good for that. What was I going to say? Oh, so My Hero Academia. Yeah. The fight scenes are really fucking good right now. There's a lot of heart, a lot of grit, a lot of determination. People fucking trying. I'm excited to see what happens in the next episode. I'm nervous. I mean, we know that things are going to... Well, we don't know how things are going to turn out. But we're hopeful that things are going to turn out okay. Especially for our boy Deku. I hope things are okay for Deku. Because he's a good boy. And I want good things for him. Q&A will be on their YouTube channel. Yeah, I figured, Harold. I assumed that it would be there, and I would catch it, because I'd forgotten they were going to do one. Because I watched the episode, and then had to prep for the stream. Anyway. Keep your hands off Eizouken. Yes, the next couple episodes should be definitely rad. Yeah, this is definitely trying times. This is step up, get things done, dig deep Deku times. So it should be interesting to see what comes of that. So moving on to keep your hands off Eizouken. So this came out on Sunday. It is the director of Devilman Crybaby's new series. It feels a little bit, the art style feels a little bit like that. I've been saying that I think the art style is more reminiscent of the Gorillas, the multimedia element of the Gorillas. It feels very reminiscent of that. And it is a show about some high school freshman girls who want to make an anime. Which is loosely based on the location they live in, which feels like a cool setting for an anime. And it's going to be the highs and lows of that. And the voice acting is fucking rad. It looks cool as hell. Like I said, the art style stands out. It's a Sunday show, so something fun over the weekend. But it is on my definite watch list. I'm going to watch every episode. I'm excited to see where it goes. I often try these shows and then kind of fizzle out. I don't feel like fizzling out on this one. This one feels fucking good. I have high hopes for this show. I think it's going to be pretty dang solid. And so I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. It is fucking solid. Let's talk about Room Camp. Room Camp is a Monday show. It is 3.5 minutes because it's just a theme at the end. It is a short subject show, which is basically, it's not the chibi art style, but it is very similar to the end jokes, the Room Camp jokes for Laid Back Camp. It is a spin-off of Laid Back Camp. But, so there were jokes and gags, but it felt like it ended with, let's go on this adventure. We're going to do this adventure. I'm going to sneeze at some point. So at some point, I could feel that coming. I knew I was going to sneeze. So it feels like they're going on an adventure. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like a little bit of gag. Here's a location in this area, because they're collecting like stamps from the area because she's new to the prefecture. So it seems like that's going to be what the show is about. So I actually might recommend folks. Oops, sorry. I'm gonna. I gotta look up information on this one here. So I would say folks might want to wait for a bunch of episodes to come out. I don't know how many episodes are going to be of Room Camp. Like, obviously, I'm going to watch it every week, and the gags in it were fun, but like, it might be the case where this was a fun show, but we don't really need it to. You might not need to watch. You might want to just binge it because it's 3.5 minutes. The other 3.5 minute show that is out every week right now is Yatogame-chan. Now, the whole title is, I'm only going to call it that. It's Yatogame-chan Kansatsu Nikki. Season 2. This is another one. The first episodes, I forget when the first episodes came out, but this is the second season. I believe it came out last year. And this is a short subject, small little episodes. It started with season 2. The basic idea is that a kid from Tokyo moves to the country in Japan, Nagoya, and the whole show is about how he thinks stuff from Nagoya is like weird and or cute, and then the main girl is kind of cat-like, and she thinks that Nagoya rules, and she thinks this dude is weird for that. It's a little bit romance. It's mostly goofy educational. And it starts with them like, hey, just so you know, you might think we're making fun of Nagoya. We are not. And people being like, all right, just chill out. We get that you don't dislike Nagoya. It's okay. It is silly and fun. And again, I like that there are 3 shows I'm watching that come out so far anyway, that come out on Monday, and 2 of them are very short 3-minute episodes. 3.5 with a closing theme. But yeah, it's just a silly little thing. There's also going to be a new character they haven't introduced yet that I'm excited to see what's going on with that person, because that will be good for the show, I think. Sometimes I don't love the introduction of a new character, but I'm okay in this case because, sure. Let's see. What else did I want to say? Oh. So here's the one that, if there's a show that I'm going to stop watching right now of the shows, Asteroids in Space is interesting, but I don't know. But also, I don't know what's coming out on weekends, so I might keep watching it so I can have something to talk about on Saturdays. A show that I don't know if I'm going to keep watching, because I just don't know, is Seton Academy. Join the pack. So the premise is, in this world, there are animals that generally walk on 2 legs. They talk. Everyone can understand them. Everyone can understand each other. They're anthropomorphized and humanoid-esque. And there's a school where a lot of them go to school and do their thing. The vice principal is a T-Rex, which is great. Do not get me wrong. It fucking rules that the vice principal is a T-Rex. And then there's also humans. Humans are in this world. It is not an animal-only world. And there's a human, and he goes to a school that is, it's a furry show. So he goes to human school, he goes to the school with all these animals, and he is only one of 2 humans in this school. We don't know why he's going to that school. We don't know what happened. We do know that he does not like animals and does not want to be there. And it primarily is about his interactions with... There's one thing that's funny is, he goes to the school cafeteria and none of the food is cooked because the animals don't eat cooked food. So he's going to start a cooking club with the only other human girl. But there is he keeps calling... Well, we'll talk about that in a second. There is a character who is a wolf. And she's the only wolf at the school. We don't know why. But she's the only wolf at school, so she doesn't have a pack. Most animals hang out with each other and form a pack, and there's pack societies. So most of the animals just hang out with their own kinds and don't intermingle. And it looks like this show is going to be about this pack made with different types of people and humans and animals, and it might be a refuge for characters that have been ostracized of their own, or characters that are the only one of their kind at that school, so they've been loners. And there's stuff about it that seems kind of cute. And here's the part where letting me know, are these animals eating each other? And no. So there's threats of it. They've been told not to. I don't know what the meat is that they're eating. There's a thing about eating meat. But as far as I can tell, they're explicitly not supposed to eat each other at the school. So I don't know what the meat is that they're eating, but there is meat, and I don't know what it is. But here's the thing: this is a show that does not want to think about that. They're not. This is maybe social commentary about finding your own place in the world, and not in social commentary, or commentary on that, and finding your tribe and your people. That is probably, and that our differences make us interesting, and let's all get along and kumbaya. No, this show is not going to do any of that. It's a dumb comedy show, so it's not going there. I mean, sometimes anime does have those moments where you're like, hey, this got real. I don't know if y'all can handle getting real. So it wouldn't be the first time a show did that, where they were like, no, let's have our poignant moment. And you're like, whoa, okay. So here's the point I wanted to make about this show, and why I think it might end up being one that I discard. So I told you that there are male presenting and female presenting animals, right? The male presenting animals are animals that stand on 2 legs and talk and wear clothes. But you can see a bear. That's a bear. The female characters are basically humans, but with cat ears and fur and tails. But slender ass legs. Now, if they're going to ever explain that, sure. But I bet they fucking don't. I bet they don't ever do that. And if they had done the male characters, the same presenting characters, the same as the female presenting, then that might be another story, right? If all of the characters were mostly humanoid with cat ears and tails or whatever, whatever tails. But I couldn't tell if the zebra had stripes on her legs or was wearing striped knee-high socks, because she didn't have any stripes on her arms, her humanoid-looking arms. Do female animals have boobs? I mean, I cannot answer that question. I did not look close enough. I will say, at the very least, the wolf did get all fours to run around, and I appreciate that. Oh, also, small thing. he just keeps calling her a dog, and then she has to correct him. And I hope that now that they're friends after the first episode, he cuts that shit out, because I do not like that, and that sucks ass. But I also think that, like, I think this show is gonna be a bummer, and I'm gonna stop watching it, because the premise was interesting to me, but the part where they lost me is the whole, like, the different genders, like, have different like, furriness, because, like, just do one or the other. Like, go full animal, or go anthropomorphize, mostly humans. I also like that I just Googled Seton Academy, and I'm getting a lot of, apparently there are a lot of places in the United States that are called Seton Academy, and I bet they fucking hate this idea of an anime. Alright, I can see various ones. I want to try to find a photo. Oh, also, it's definitely a harem show. You already knew that. You already knew that. That everyone in the cooking club, other than our main dude, is going to be a lady. Like, you already knew that. I didn't have to tell you that. But I'm trying to find a photo with... Like, the T-Rex is a fucking T-Rex. Like, you know. But I'm trying to find a photo. Alright, that's a pretty good photo. Let me find this. Just trying to... There we go. Alright. So here's the photo. Our dude is in the back. And you can see that right there, right? So there's a lion guy. He just looks like a fucking lion. And this is a wolf. The pink-haired girl is a wolf. And then, I don't know, I think she's a mink. We haven't met her yet. We're going to meet her, a human girl. And, hey, the panda just looks like a girl wearing a panda thing. And I'm probably going to not keep watching this show, because I bet I don't get into it. I did kind of like the premise. But yeah. They put boobs on female animals. Yeah. The premise you explained had me interested. Now it just sounds like a furry bait. Yes. So, like I said, the premise is interesting. I like the idea. Look, I love the idea of this dude dislikes these things. Put him in a world surrounded by them to let him grow as a person and change. That is not new to anime. It is a classic anime trope. It's a classic literary trope and media trope. It's, well, now that I've gotten here, I learned it. I will give them credit for one thing. One thing I did not say about Seton Academy that I appreciate. The instigating factor of him not liking animals and her, the wolf, liking humans and wanting to do a pack where people get helped is, one time she was being picked on by bears and he saved her. And then he got beat up by these bears, so he, at that point, didn't like animals. And he was the first person to ever help her that wasn't part of her pack. So she gained appreciation of other animals. And she doesn't know it was him, but he knows that it was him. That this big important thing for her. So there's not going to be a reveal. I guess there'll be maybe a reveal where he'll say that. But I like that he at least knows, oh, that was me. I'm the reason why she's like this. Like, that's at least something and kind of interesting. But like I said, I don't know if this is going to be a good thing. It's probably not. Of course, he's got eyes for the human girl, and this is what high school should be, and blah, blah, blah. And then, like, the wolf shows up, and, whatever. Licks it, like wolves do, licks him in the face. And he feels bad about that. And it's a whole thing. I don't know. like I said, I don't think it's going to be a show that it feels like the first show that I'm going to skip on. Asteroids in Space, I don't have a huge attachment to. I think the first episode was fun, but last season I was so happy to have, and it's still a great show on its own, but in particular, I was thrilled to have, what's it called? Last season I was thrilled to have After School Dice Club because there weren't any slice of life shows, and there hadn't been for a while. This season, we're getting slice of life shows. There are going to be some that I don't even watch because I'm like, I don't really care about that. Like, I'm not interested in the anime show that's about fashion. That's not a slice of life. That's a drama. I'm not interested in that show. I'm probably not interested in the idol group anime. Maybe it'll be good. I generally don't particularly enjoy anime about idol group development. That's just not a thing that like interests me. So I'm probably not. I'm less inclined to check that out. But if you're telling me that there is a cool new sorry, I gotta look this up. Look at some. Okay, if there's like another slice of life, like yeah, I'm interested. I'm gonna check them out. Like I said, I still don't know what every show is, when any show is. I have to check things every fucking day and check schedules and see. Do they perform original songs in an idol group anime? Yes. And it's. I know I'm not pronouncing this. I'm not taking the time to say this. It's Idol. IDOL. Idols. But yes, animes like that will have all original music. Occasionally, they will license things from artists if it's around. Most of the time, they're creating original music, and then the girls, the voice actresses in the show, or voice actors if it's a guy group anime, will go on tour and perform those songs, and it's a whole fucking thing. And then occasionally, like Megumi Hanashibara, they will become their own famous things and put out their own albums and become pop idols of their own. Megumi, probably best known as the Japanese voice actress of Faye Valentine, along with a lot of other shit. But she was so popular that she ended up having her own music career of original material, or material written just for her, that it was not related to the show she was on. Because she would do shows, she would do songs for, like, various shows. Because the thing that, like, Steven Universe has songs in it, right? So it makes sense to have, like, album recordings from Steven Universe. But, like, BoJack Horseman. Imagine if BoJack Horseman had a CD or a download thing of music from BoJack, like, inspired by BoJack Horseman. And it's just the voice actors, and, like, Paul F. Tompkins had a song on it. And it was just him singing a song in the character's voice. Like, Yu Yu Hakusho has an album of voice actors singing songs. And there's a fucking killer song of Kurama and Hiei have a duet that fucking rips. It's a great chorus. Fucking it rules. It's legitimately a great tune. But, like, that doesn't make any sense. That's one of my favorite things about anime. There is a cast album for Rurouni Kenshin, talking about Megumi Hanashibara, that is fucking fantastic. And there's, like, group songs and solo songs and themes, and it is none of the songs on that album are any of the intro and outro songs from the show. It's all just other stuff. And it's great. It has a group song that plays that has all the characters in it, and then eventually, let's the kids, the little kids, nieces and nephews of Kara, sing, and they come in on the chorus. And it's fucking cool. Hatsune Miku is going to be at Coachella. Hell yeah, I would never go to Coachella. No. Also, Epic Open World, I would say that, in my opinion, I don't know for sure, but I feel like if you want to see Hatsune Miku, you would want to see her indoors. That I bet that hologram technology is okay outside, but it's definitely better inside. I've never seen her outside. I've only seen her inside. But yeah, it is. I mean, it's wonderful nonsense. It's so strange. Real strange thing. But yeah. All right, so we're doing assembly. We have to do the weapons. We won't totally finish this kit today because there are some weapons to build. So I'm going to talk about my one biggest disappointment with this kit, because we are body complete, but we might finish weapons in the next 10 minutes or 15 minutes. Maybe we will. Maybe we'll finish it off, or maybe I'll go long because I don't want to maybe want to wrap this up. So this kit has a sword, and that rules. So there are two things about this kit that I don't love. The first is, do you see this photo here? You see this here? That's a fucking lie. Because the blades are black, or, and clear. You don't get the heat sword. It's not heated. It's a lie. You don't get the red blade. Give me the fucking red blade. You don't get it. That's annoying. Now, I understand this is a high grade, yada, 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 but, fuck you. Don't tell me I'm getting that if I don't get it. That's a bummer. I am mad for you, Pat, says Ultron. Right? The orange sword looks better. Yeah, I like the clear. Look, don't get me wrong. I'm going to go with the clear sword over the black one. I like a black sword, too. I think the clear sword is probably going to look better. But, that sucks. I'm annoyed about it. Because I thought I was getting, a heat blade. Like the, when we did, the Sandrock had the heat blades. Those look really fucking good. Of course I'm going to go for that option. Don't put it in the photos. Hey. Grab this here. It's on the box. This is a lie. It's just a lie. It's annoying. Also, the arms don't actually extend as far as I can tell. Yeah. Also, the arms don't extend. So it's just full of lies. I legitimately thought that the arms extended on this kit, and they don't. They show, they show it. This is a lie. This is a lie. Let's say I assembled this wrong, and I'm positive I didn't assemble this wrong. The arms don't extend. I'm going to look at it. Assemble these arms. Yeah. Yeah, the arms don't extend. It's a lie. Poor form. Some bullshit. Oh, no. Okay, wait, you can... wait, what's 42? Wait, do I take the legs off? No, okay, I'm sorry. Flip that, reverse that, pull it back. It does extend the arms. We haven't built the arm extensions yet. So, it lied about the blade. It did not lie about... It did not lie about that, so I'll take that back. But There are extra pieces you attach last, Brooke. You're right. We hadn't built those yet. And I didn't think, I thought the only thing we had left to build was the weapons. So I will take that back. I apologize. I misspoke. You can extend the arms. There is a piece of equipment we have to build still that is the arms. But it is a clear blade and not a red blade. That is true. That is the thing they did. So I am half mad, I guess. I'm less mad about a thing, that one part of it, and still mad about the other. We've got to put the last stickers on. Not as a lot of stickers as you expect for a kit like this. You expect to have more. But I'm not complaining about less stickers than you'd expect. Certainly. Certainly not hard to apply either, so that's nice. I'm trying to think if there are any other shows coming out that I'm excited about. Anime-wise, got a few things, as I said. Orphan, I'm excited about that. Looking forward to that remake. I really like Sorceress Stabber Orphan, the first series. This is a remake, and that's cool. I like that. Yeah, Plunderer. Plunderer is a show that I might not even watch, but it seems like it might be okay. And Nikopara. I like Nikopara. I like that Nikopara exists, but I don't know if it'll be a thing that I'm like, gotta watch it. But like I said, I am mostly just pleased that that show happened at all. All right, so we got to put this on the back there, and this goes on the back. Oops. And then I like this. I like these weapons that just live on the back of this kit. Like, you can kind of imagine pulling them out. That's fun. So I like that. All right, let's build the extendo arms and the sword here. So yeah, well, I might stay a couple minutes late just to finish this up. Might go a few minutes over. I don't expect to go too far over, but I do want to wrap this up. I've got the next kit that we'll be building. Came out last year, and it is the Death Army. This is the next kit we'll be working on. It is just another 144 scale high grade. Like the Cyclops, I like the Club Beam. That is just a good, silly thing that exists. I'm into that. Yeah. That's the next thing we'll be building on stream on Thursday. A reminder, my next stream is actually going to be Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern. I'll be doing a Wednesday night build stream. You're more than welcome to come. Not build, sorry. Wednesday night stream, game stream, where I will be playing either live or pre-recorded video stuff, depending on my situation. I'm testing out before that. But I will be doing live wrestling commentary for the lovely and very silly Fire Pro Wrestling World. I'll just be giving my commentary over that, and that should be very fun. And I've picked a bunch of created wrestler characters that are related to the various properties we've done here. So there'll be some anime characters, there'll be particularly some Gundam characters, and it should be pretty cool. I just had an idea for someone else I want to put in there based on things we built. WD should just have Fire Pro folks make the wrestling games. Yeah, I mean, they are very technical. The thing is, they're just technical, and I think WWE doesn't care. They're just going to keep doing what they do. I mean, boy oh boy, the fact that that game didn't work on New Year's Day, that WWE 2K20 didn't work in the year 2020 is just... holy shit. I legitimately cannot believe that actually went down like that. It's just such nonsense They literally could. People literally couldn't play the game on New Year's Day. Who was playing it on New Year's, you ask? Well, people would get it as gifts and, whatever. But, like, the PC thing, there were some modes that worked that didn't work, and at least on the PC, you could change the clock, and that would work. But people who played it on the PlayStation couldn't even do that, so they had a game that just didn't work because of some sort of glitch. They patched it fast, so I will say that. I mean, Dan is not in a position to comment on games. That's not to say he won't ever be in a position to comment on games, but he can't right now, certainly. I think going for 2K Fidelity Pro Wrestling will be cause more than uproar than you expect. Yeah, I think Fire Pro would, even with a lot of money, Fire Pro's style wouldn't translate, so they would have to really change up how they the game, like how they design games, and that would be interesting. But also, good night, Harold. Thanks for being here. Thanks for stopping by. Also, those games, like, this year's game doesn't look great. The character models look so bad. People were talking about that. There are a lot of people who were just like, if I was them, I would be so fucking pissed that that's how I looked in a game, because it's bad, man. It's atrocious. Some of those character models are just unbelievably awful. Jeff Gerstmann has a long video of him rating every single one. It's a long-ass video because there are a lot of wrestlers in that game, and they all look terrible. Not all of them. Some of the legacy characters they didn't mess with don't look bad. But most of them look very bad. All right, we're going to finish the last hands here. Yeah, Dusty Rhodes still legacy doesn't look great, but like a lot of those wrestlers like just look really terrible. And it's a real fucking shame. They don't deserve that shit. Cuz a lot of them are just like, it's always somebody's first time in a video game, right? Like some of these wrestlers, not all of them grew up loving games or grew up loving wrestling, but certainly some of them did. Like, certainly some of them are like, I'm going to be in the game this year. I'm going to be in a wrestling video game. And that's what they get. It's like, they're going to get this awful, weird game that doesn't work and is just very bad. It's like, yeah, sorry. You're going to look like butt in this video game. That's the best we can do, is to make you look just awful. We cannot do anything else but make you look horrendous. Sorry. We're bad at this, apparently. But yeah, some of them, like, here's the thing. Some of them look bad, but not terrible, but still not good. Nobody looks good in that game. This year being new consoles, they probably look terrible again. I mean, they're going to come out every year, and they're never going to improve. They're never going to be better. They're only going to get worse. They will just get worse and worse until people are like, legacy folks are like, I do not want to be in this. I do not want to be in this game. But yeah, it's never going to get better, unfortunately. It'll always just get worse and worse. All right, so let's put on our hand here, because they'll still sell enough. Because now they're going to just sell to people that still want to buy them every year, and then they'll also sell to people that want to see the train wreck, which is terrible that exists, but that'll be enough. All right, so we got our sword here. We put it there. As I said, my biggest complaint with this kit is that this sword is not red. There's a black version or dark gray version and the clear. And I want the red version. Also, this thing kind of... Whatever, it's a high grade. It's a 144 scale high grade. It's just that this was advertised as being red and isn't, and that sucks. And I'm annoyed by that. Other than that, it was a very fun kit. Look out, 4K wrestlers. Don't look at 4K wrestlers, right? Gunpla and wrestling, I'm okay with this. Yes! Uh, Gunpla, wrestling, and anime. Obviously, Gunpla is very anime anyway, but talking about anime stuff, that is a thing that you will find on these streams, and also conversations about wrestling and video games and all kinds of things. But, unfortunately, we are at an end of our stream. We are wrapping up the stream. It is 11 p.m. We have completed the Zogok. The Zogok is done. My next game stream will be on Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern. Please come back for that. Look at Fire Pro Wrestling World. I'll be doing live commentary on some computer versus computer matches because to me, that's way more fun. And there'll be some fun people. I'll tell you right now, if there's a good Batman, Batman will play because we have built some Batman Lego, so Batman counts. I'm going to download a cool I'm sure there's a cool Batman. I'll get a good Batman in Fire Pro. But that's Wednesday. Thursday is our next build stream. Thank you all so much for being here. Reminder to subscribe if you can. Tell a friend. Enjoy yourselves. Have a great rest of your Monday. I will see you on the next stream. I'm going to run an ad. You don't have to watch it, but you can, and that would be good for me. Bye-bye.